So thank you so much for coming today. We really appreciate you guys being with us. We are blessed or lucky today to have my good friend David Johnston here. David is, he's not going to say it, so I'm going to say it. Legend in the space. Has been involved since day one, with Bitcoin and Ethereum, and is well recognized for having created the concept of a DApp. He wrote a document more than 10, 12 years ago called the General Theory of Decentralized Applications, where he basically explained that if you had a decentralized computer, but you didn't have decentralized applications, you weren't going to be decentralized. And the roadmap that he laid out for tokenized entities that shared the governance and profits and value with the token holders that must be on open source software in order to have truth without trusting are all David's concepts. So thank you, David. Is that all right?
Test. There we go.
Anyway, thank you, David.
Oh, I appreciate that, James. Yeah, it seems like the concept of decentralization has caught on.
I think generally you had the plot. So I'm supposed to stay on subject. It's a very small chance that's going to happen. And so we're here to talk about tokenization and the impact. But what we really want to talk about is decentralization and the ability to access liquidity of ideas, of formation of new entities, and of capital at the end, and ideas.
Sure. Maybe good to start with a question to the audience. Who's heard of agents recently? So virtuals or truth terminal, right? This is the entire wave that's happening right now. So James, when you say tokenization, I think about the tokenization of agents, right? That's really the moment that we're living in, is you can connect an AI to a wallet, all of a sudden it has a level of independence. You can represent that AI with its own token, and now it has persistence. Exactly. Right? And that's, I think, the really interesting thing here is you guys have probably seen a lot of these agents, and it's sort of a simple meme, right? It's an image, and it can do a little bit of chat on social media, but we're headed towards a world in which these are a lot more powerful, and they're able to do things on your behalf. So I'm really excited about that.
So first of all, let's start with why is this important? Why is the introduction of AI agents, why does that matter to us?
Well, the area that I'm most focused on is how to give everyone a personal smart agent, right? I want the agent to reflect my values, my desires, right? I want it to act on my behalf, right? Not on behalf of some company or some government, but the same reason you have a smartphone in your pocket, right? You want to be able to control your data, your wealth, your contacts. And so I think that's really critical, because we're in this moment where there's an explosion of brain power being unleashed by this wave of AI. And if you don't have personal access to that, you're not the beneficiary, right? We saw this with Web 2, right, where the big tech companies tended to mine our data. Here you go, kid, here's a free app, right? And people sort of didn't realize they were giving away 99% of the value. So with Web 3, we have the ability to put the individual person back at the heart of the technology, where they're the beneficiary. Because ultimately, it's their data. It's their money, right? They ought to be the one benefiting from it. So
right. I mean, so if you think about it, why is Google worth 1.3 trillion? Why is OpenAI worth $500 billion? It's not even profitable, right? And the reason is because we're all worth $40,000, $50,000 a piece. And OpenAI has access through WorldCoin and other media, 2 billion people. Do the math, they're worth $500 billion. But that $500 billion is you. They're selling your money, right? And so what David is working on with Morpheus, which we'll explain in a second, is this ability to tokenize and decentralize and have your own LLM, take back control. You get the $40,000, or you don't sell it at all, or you decide who to sell it to and how they're going to use it, right? So all of a sudden, this concepts of UBI, universal basic income, owning your own data, right, privacy and no longer being the product are possible. David, talk about Morpheus. Why is Morpheus important, and what are you trying to achieve?
Sure. So quick poll of the audience. Who's already heard of Morpheus or Venice or some of these decentralized AIs? So about a quarter of the audience. This was introduced in a paper a couple of years ago on September 2nd, 2023 by some anonymous developers calling themselves Morpheus, Trinity, and Neo. I realized later, September 2nd is Keanu Reeves' birthday. And I was like, I see what you guys did there. Yeah. And so it was sort of this concept of, okay, smart agents are coming, AI is here, but how do we put the people at the heart of that, right? And so the community really sort of rallied, especially with all of the headwinds in 2023, with the administration trying to stop open source AI, restrict open source AI. There was really sort of a race, like how fast can we build these open systems, get people to adopt them, and sort of turn the tide. And I think it was last January, I got into a train here in Davos, and I saw my friend Michael Casey, and I handed him a red pill for Morpheus, and said, decentralized AI. And he got the concept, right? It works so well with everything people have been building the last 10, 12 years with decentralized money, right? If that's really going to be a thing, it has to be coupled with decentralized intelligence, right? If you don't have access to that, right, we're all going to get harvested by Microsoft and Google and all these other players. So it's been amazing to see the community that you've built, and James and Alexa with DAIS, bringing together all of the players that are passionate about this idea of freedom of intelligence.
All right, now answer the question. What is Morpheus?
So Morpheus is a smart contract and decentralized platform, very similar to what Ethereum did for smart contracts. Morpheus is doing for these smart agents. So it's giving them tools for capital, code, and compute, right? Morpheus is not building any agents, it's not running any GPUs. It's like a marketplace, right? It's connecting the people that want to provide those GPUs or provide that capital with the people building the agents, right? Ethereum doesn't go around the foundation building smart contracts. They created the EVM and Solidity and these tools that everybody needed. And a couple years ago, the paper basically said, hey, we need all those things again, but for smart agents, right? So that's what Morpheus is really sort of leading this charge towards, let's have agents that are connected to smart contracts, and you control them with your private key. So your MetaMask, your personal wallet, your Coinbase wallet, you can direct the agent, and ultimately you have all the power, right? You're signing the transactions, and that's a really important concept to grok, is who's heard of autonomous agents or autonomous AI? Most people? Morpheus is sort of different. It's intent-based AI. The human is expressing the intent, says, hey, I want to stake my Ethereum or do this swap. The agent understands, it proposes the transaction, but ultimately you approve it.
All right, so actionable information here. David, how do I get my own LLM? How do I get my own agent? What are the platforms that exist and that disintermediate the technology? I'm an art history major,
Sure.
that. So how do I get my agent? How do I launch it? How do I get it funded? How do I get it in the world acting?
So just go to more.org, more.org. That's one of the community websites for Morpheus. And you can download a personal agent onto your computer. And it's a full large language model. It never leaves your computer, right? You're able to send the prompts and it's totally private. The other one, if you're not a developer, I'd recommend something like Venice.ai. If you guys have heard of Eric Voorhees' new project, it has a beautiful interface. All you have to do is to go to their website, Venice, like the city in Europe, .ai, and there's no account. There's no sign up. It's just you can use it for free. It's all based on these open source models, and it's private to your phone. It's all encrypted. So there's some great tools live right now, and they're already getting close to their first 1 million users with a couple 100,000 daily actives. Like this idea of open source free AI is kind of catching on. So.
And decentralized anonymous access to ChatGPT, essentially. And if your sign-on key is a wallet that has one Morpheus token, one MOR token, it's free for life to have a pro account. So you can actually have the same access as any major user by having one $20 token in your Web3 wallet as your sign-in.
Yeah, that's sort of one of the concepts that's been pioneered here, is let people stake towards the projects and the open source they want to support, and Venice is one of the first to do that.
And then, there's other platforms that have launched over the last 6 months, which now have billions of dollars of value captured in their ecosystems, which make it incredibly easy to launch your own AI agent. One is called virtuals.io, and the other one, I use one called Creator Venice.bid. And I have Crypto AI Agent with a K. That's my dog's name, Crypto with a K. And I have a cute little cockapoo that looks like an emoji from your iPhone. And he automatically posts 4 times a day on investments that I've made in AI and bots. And literally, I don't have to do anything. I have a couple hundred followers who talk to my bot. And I log on to see what the hell they're up to make sure it's staying kosher, because God knows what that thing's doing.
Yeah. We're definitely at the meme stage, but that's okay, right? Ethereum had to have its crypto kitties and ICO moment before the serious stuff came along. Right?
But also the way that technology gets adopted is you have to disintermediate the technology. If the users need to understand the technology, it doesn't get adopted. And you'll find that almost all technologies first get adopted for something which a serious person wouldn't think is a valuable use of time, or pornography, if anyone's gonna say it out loud, right? And so it's these use cases make it more personal, make it more accessible, make it less intimidating, and then corporates and more serious uses follow along because, hey, look, my kid can do that. Why can't I do it, right? And so I think we're at a stage now where we're at the edge of a Cambrian explosion, right?
100%.
All right, so we have to close up in a minute or two. What is it? See, I could have written that thing. So what's one thing actionable that you think a person should leave the room and just try for the fun of it to see if they get hooked?
So go to Venice.ai, use a smart agent yourself. This is the year, folks. This is the year that AI brain power exceeds all human brain power, right, by my calculations. And so, you're really going to want a personal AI. And it's going to multiply your productivity. It's really going to be powerful. So if it's the early days of crypto, just try it out. That's what I always said. You'll learn how it works, you'll learn what it can do, and you become the expert around, all your friends and family that can teach them how to adopt this.
So when you use Venice.ai, if you're in Safari, you can press a button to make the icon become an app on your homepage, and then you can actually use Venice as your first source of searching.
I've just stopped using ChatGPT entirely. I just use that. It's open source, it's free, why not?
Okay, all right, do we have one more minute, or are we done? 20 seconds. Okay. Quickly. David's true talent is seeing forward and putting it into a form that humans can understand and make actionable. His latest concept, which I think is brilliant, is that of brain power, similar to horsepower, where you start to analyze what is the brain power of a person, of a computer, of a system, and start to use that as a benchmark to compare what computers and AI can do compared to what legacy humans and computers can do.
Basically, it turned it into unit of measure. So this is an article I put out on X. So if you just look up D. Johnston EC, you'll see my article on brain power. But I do think it's a useful analogy to help people sort of quantify. They hear AI is powerful, but how powerful? Today, an H1 is like the equivalent of 300 brain power. The new Blackwell chips will be the equivalent of 1,200 brain power each. And that's how we get to a world later this year where 50 trillion hours of brain power will be AI and 7 trillion will be humans, but that's good. It's like everybody got a car, right? Now you could go 100 times further physically. You're about to get a brain car that can take you intellectually 100 times further, right? So this is something exciting if it's open source, if it's controlled by you, if it's yours, right? That's the difference here and why we're so excited about decentralized AI.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, David.
Yeah, absolutely.